What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to 3QS, 3 Questions. Today, we have a very special guest, and I have to thank her for coming back because we had some technical difficulties last time. And, you know, I'm just not going to do her like that. So I appreciate you coming back. So who we have here today is Angelita. So welcome back.
Thank you. So happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
That's dope. That's dope. And I have to thank you again for the compliment on the space.
Of course.
I'm trying here. You know, it's a one-man show.
Love
so.
it.
I think I'm doing pretty well.
You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing.
But anyway, I ain't going to take too much of your time. I'm going to jump right into it. Question number 1. Who is Angelita? That's like the main question of the show. Everybody should know that.
So my name is Angelita Pallard. I am from Prince George's County, Upper Marlboro. Where you at? Woo woo. I am a creative as a whole. That's how I like to define myself. But God gave me the ability to dance so that people would listen to me. So I started dancing when I was 3 years old. You know, the whole Abby Lee, like, you know, the competitions, dance 7 days a week, like, you know.
7 days a week?
7 days a week. I would be in the back doing homework, and like it was. Yeah.
I'm trying to picture that. Well, then again, I mean, because I play high school sports, and they would have us practicing a lot too, but not 7 days a week.
It was this was not school dance. It's competitive.
Oh, okay,
so outside,
okay.
like
So
studio
that's
stuff.
different.
Yeah, that's
they were pushing the child labor laws.
That's a totally different podcast.
Right, I bet.
But no, I mean it was really, really great kind of having that experience. Like starting off dancing so young, like it built my confidence, it built my stage presence, built my creativity, like kind of looking at the world from a different lens, which was really, really amazing. And so that kind of funneled into me. I started my singing group when I was 8. I do a little songwriting back in the day.
I was gonna say I never heard you sing. I've only seen you dance and plan. Oh, that's another thing I want to say. Oh, that's your camera too. So if you want some, yeah, that's you right there. But I was gonna say that aside from your dancing skills, your ability to plan stuff is wild. I'm actually sitting back like I take notes. I ain't gonna BS you, and I'm trying to figure out because I usually wing it. and it so far it's worked out. Sometimes it hasn't. Sometimes I crashed and burned. But when it works out, it's like bet.
Amen.
So, but yeah, no, I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, you're fine. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if I'm jumping around.
No.
But like I do have my dance company and I have my production company, and like the experience that I've had, my brain is chaotic all the time. Like I am everywhere all at once doing everything. So planning and articulating myself in a way where everybody can kind of take a step into my brain is kind of how I operate artistically, professionally. I just got promoted at the University of Maryland. Thank you. University of Maryland's Alumni Association. So I'm a program manager there, actually.
Okay. That's literally right up your alley. So that makes a whole lot of sense.
It's really, really cool. So like every day I'm planning events, but I'm also like making spreadsheets and like doing budget reconciliations with like our vendors and like everything. And so it's kind of like using all the skills that I have developed as a creative, as an organized creative, which is two different things, like as an organized creative in one. So like I love it. But yeah, with my dance company, Vaughn, my only trusted man behind the camera. Since 2019, I've had him hostage.
You know, it's wild you said 2019. So I've known you that long.
Yes.
You know something, I'm just reminded the first night I met you actually. I was filming for you. You know, it was your class, and it was I guess a mutual friend.
Yes, Candace.
That set me up with it. And it was wild. You had a lot. That was like me still young in the whole dance type of thing. And you definitely had a good energy about you. It was funny because when we were leaving that night, I don't know if you remember, when we were leaving that night, getting done, you was about to go out with your friends and stuff like that, right? You was like, yo, I'm about to turn up. And I'm sitting back like, yo, I don't have nothing to do tonight. Should I ask this person, can I come with? Because I'm bored as hell, but I don't even know this person. I just filmed for her, but damn it, I don't want to go home right now. And I was like, I had made a hint, you did not respond. And I was like, Yeah, let me just go home.
I'm sorry.
But it wasn't mean. It was just like, I don't think you were paying attention.
I'm sorry.
No, but it was cool though. But since then, I know for a fact you are not like a mean person. I know that for a fact.
Thank you. I tried.
But it was that night I was like, yeah, I'm just filming her. That's it. That is it. Nothing else.
No, Vaughn is my trusted, like, I only trust him behind, like, to articulate the vision. I'd be like, Vaughn, I want and he's like, all right, just hold on. But then, like, he shows me, he's like, what about this? I'm like, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like that.
Well, that's cool that we actually able to do that, because that doesn't come around often.
Definitely.
It's really not. And even you edit too. And you do a lot of stuff, and I've even complimented you on your skill set. And I'm like, okay, bet. So now when we talk, we know, we kind of have
exactly
that rapport going on.
Oh, that's amazing.
But you mentioned, and we'll get into question 2 real quick. You mentioned your dance company.
Yes.
What is that? Like, how did it come about?
So, Extra Productions Dance Company, XPDC, is my brainchild, my baby. So I started XPDC when I was 14 years old. I don't know, I've always kind of been a dreamer, always just wanted to do stuff and be larger than life, honestly. And so growing up, I used to always just be extra. So my mom was like, you so extra. And I'm like, okay. So that's kind of where the name
Your mom is cool too.
I love my mom. That's where the name came from. Doing extra gets you noticed, because doing extra does get you noticed. So I started, like, it was my summer going into my sophomore year of high school. And literally I sat down and I sent a text message to every single person in my phone. It's just like, hi, I'm Angelita. Don't know if you know, but I dance and I'm starting a dance company. Yeah, I'm only 14. Do I have a place to practice? I mean, of course I ain't at all this, but like, you know, I don't know where to practice. I don't know what the goal of this company is. I don't know. But like, it's so crazy to believe that from that text message splurge, I had 11 people say, all right,
11
cool.
is a lot at 14.
11 is a lot at 14.
But then again, you seem to be like a popular person. Were you like that in high school? Did you have a lot of friends? Did you like have a birthday party and a lot of people show up?
I grew up in the dance world. So like I had my dance sisters, and I had like a large pool of, I had a large support system, but like my dance friends were really my friends. High school, I was such an introvert. I did not talk.
I was about to say, don't tell me that you was an introvert, because I don't believe that. Not after the last 6 years. I don't believe it at all.
Ask anybody at Bishop McNamara High School, class of 2015, 10-year reunion coming up, woo woo. But no, I really did not. I didn't really speak to a lot of people. I was in my honors classes, and like I was on the dance team and stuff. But that was pretty much it. So like, sending out that message was honestly a big step for me, because it was taking me out of my comfort zone and everything. Because like I really was not, I was scared to talk to people.
Really?
And like I went to public elementary school and public middle school. So I went to Kenmore Middle and everything. So Kenmore has a different energy, and I was very sheltered. And so like it was kind of, right next to FedEx Field. It was a little different of an atmosphere, but I was like in the TAG program, the Talented and Gifted program there. So like, it was a complete mix of people that were there because it was their zone school, and then people that were in the honors kind of. And going to that school made me learn to be quiet, like, cause like you say the wrong thing, you.
Oh, so you was around that type of people that was, oh wow. So before then, middle and elementary school you went to? Or
public school. Yeah.
So I'm assuming in high school you went to
private school.
So you came up shutting up like that. Is that
elementary school, I was like, I came to middle school and like.
Was the middle school? Was it in the same? It was a totally different district. I'm not familiar.
It was in Prince George's County, but it was near Kitland. It was just a
rough.
It was a different area,
Okay.
No, love Kenmore, everybody, woo. But it was a different area than what I was used to. I was a little bit more sheltered for that school environment.
I think I'm getting what you're saying.
Yeah, so I kind of going to a school like that just kind of made me want to be in the shadows. I didn't want to stand out too much in that school environment. And then when I went to high school, because I went to a private high school, I didn't know anybody because nobody from my middle school or my elementary school went to high school with me. So it was starting over from scratch, whereas everybody else in high school, you know, they went to the same middle and elementary schools and everything. So they already had 10-year friendships and cliques and everything.
Do you think that, because you say you're an introvert, you was kind of introvert for elementary school and middle school kind of for good reason. Would you say that? Because it was a different type of crowd or whatnot that you wasn't familiar with?
I think so.
But then when you went to high school, do you think that, do you think you're a real introvert, or do you think you were only introvert because of the schools you went to prior to going to high school? When you went to high school, were you able to open up?
Going to high school, I learned to be more comfortable with who I am, and everything. Like freshman year and sophomore year, I still didn't talk to anybody. Like I really kind of I did what I need to do and kind of got my grades, went to dance practice, like did a couple clubs and some honor societies, and like that was it. But like junior year, that's when I started wearing my clip-ins. I got my weave and stuff. That's when I was starting to feel myself, and I was like, ooh, all right, I'm out here, I'm glowing up. But like, that's where I started making more friends in the multiple facets of myself. So I started like discovering who I am and started having friends that were in AP Calc with me, but then also friends that were in dance team and also friends that were in the modeling club. And then also, you know, I was doing, so like I started becoming more comfortable with who I am, the different avenues of me, rather than just kind of like being sheltered into myself. I started, just being more comfortable.
Let me ask you this: when you're dealing with all those people, because this all kind of builds on how you created your company. Did you ever find yourself compartmentalizing, like what friend group you were in?
Yeah.
Until you really started. Okay, so
definitely.
Do you think that I guess it couldn't. I wouldn't say hinder, like as far as like growing process, because it doesn't sound like it did. It sounded like it actually helped you do that. It helped you become more of who you are now.
Yeah. I will say I don't think that it hindered me. I will say that I don't operate that way now.
Okay, so everything is pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah.
I say that because I still kind of do that, compartmentalize. Like, I consider you a friend at this point. But like, I have other friends you've never seen. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And then coming around you, I've pretty much seen your friends.
Yeah.
You know?
No, definitely.
So it's like, I guess it is an advantage, especially when you're doing the type of work that you're doing, especially with your company, to actually kind of infuse it all, because when you're planning and doing all the things that you're doing, you really don't seem like you have time to be trying to facilitate this group over here and that group. It's too much. Okay.
No, and it's
so you never really compartmentalize.
Not now. And it's actually crazy. I think one of our conversations previously, like, you know, we had like gone out and like, you know, we were talking through stuff, and you were like, why did you share this with me?
Yeah. That was real interesting that you did that, because I'm sorry to cut you off, because my whole thought process was that I was coming to, like, we were talking business.
Yeah.
And I think that was the day I don't think I saw you as just a person I'm just doing work with.
I was reflecting on that and everything. And I know we kind of talked about it before, but I was like, okay, what? Art and artistic expression is so near and dear to me. And I feel like anybody who is going to work with something that is so intimate to me should know me and how my brain works and what I like, my experiences and everything. Like, you know, you can. It is harder to create greatness with somebody that you just picked up off of the street.
Yeah.
Having a bond and having, like, you know, an insight in how somebody's brain works, how, you know, their different experiences and like everything. I feel like it just helps with all of it. And so that's kind of how I approach my art. My art is very intimate, very, like, it's personal to me. And I love involving people with good hearts, like, all the way around. I think that it enhances. Like, when you look at a product, you can tell, oh, you know, she just met that dancer standing beside her when they came to set versus, oh, you can tell that they've had several conversations about, where this is going, and like you've seen the growth and how they work together and how I could see like, and I think that that's, so, I mean, I probably was talking to y'all too much, as I do, but I think that
keep talking.
I think that it's important. Like, you are such a huge part. Like, the piece that you play in my dreams is such a huge part of the product that it was important to me to make sure that, like, you know who I am. Yeah. If you're spending time and giving time and everything, I need you to know who I am, what my goal is, like where I see things, so that we can be on the same page, so that we can create magic. We don't got time or the money to be, but here we are.
Sticking with that, with the company, and pooling all the people that all the energies, different types of personalities. There could be egos involved in that, right? Do you ever, and this is not part of the questions, this is still stemming from question number 2. And it just kind of occurred to me now. Do you ever feel like you have those around you that maybe you might not, because your energy probably pushes them away, that might be a little bit, see you as doing too much? Or like being, like you're trying to be like a Beyonce type, and I'm just like, I'm, above everybody. You ever get that? Has anyone ever tried, like, said something like that to you? Because the reason why is because you plan spectacles. The stuff that you do, even with me coming through setting up with my camera, I'm like, well, goddamn. I'll come through and it's like, and it's stuff you put your hands on, so it's like you do all of that, and it's grand. And, in comparison with the budget, I mean, I can only imagine if you had $1 million budget. Shit. I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna need $50,000 because I'm gonna need like 10 more cameras.
Here you go.
I'm gonna need some hands with me. I ain't gonna be able to do this. But like, do you ever have you ever gotten that from anyone around you that felt like you were sucking up the air in the room?
How do I say this politically correct? Yes. Yes.
You don't have to name any names. I'm not with all that. You don't have to name any names. I don't even want to know who it is, but I just want to know, was there an experience like that?
Yeah, unfortunately. An experience similar to that happened right when I first started XPDC. Like, I had a close group. We're no longer really close. But, okay, hold on.
Did I just open up some worms? The can of worms?
I'm triggered.
Oh my God. That is not the purpose of this show. Okay? It was just a question.
I do believe that my ambition has caused me to lose some friends. I will say that. But I'm in the same breath, I don't regret who I am. I think God knows who I am. I'm on my path, and those that are on my frequency will always be around me.
That was a smooth answer. That was a smooth answer. I'll give you credit for that one.
Angelita for president.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of that going on though, especially like if you're not dealing with $1 million budgets. You would think though that type of energy would only come with big stuff like it, but it comes, lower level, mid level. It comes everywhere. But I'm glad it wasn't too many experiences, and it happened early on, so you kind of was able to navigate.
Definitely.
So it happened when you was a teenager.
Yeah.
So, and it hasn't happened since, or have you even noticed it?
I've had a couple of like small instances, but honestly, I always look at the cup as half full. So, I feel like I have like extra angels that come in and they show me different things, that give me different experiences, that inspire different pieces of art. And, sometimes that's why people come into your life, is to inspire you for one specific moment. And then you say thank you. I don't hold grudges and everything. I say thank you for the piece that you played in getting me to where I am today. And all right.
With your company, do you ever work with big corporate things, or or is it pretty much on a local level for now?
Local level for now. You know, when we start to talk about next year's film,
That's why I said for now, because I know what you're doing, and I'm like, yo, this has a crazy potential.
Yes.
So I'm like, for now.
For now. Yeah, for now it's very community based, very DMV based and stuff. But honestly, like, I think the live shows that XPDC has done in the past, I think that they're very educational. They're really grand. Live shows are a different kind of beast than media. But with the media, I feel like that has the greatest potential for like exponential growth. Like, I think, you know, you can always send that out and everything. Like, you can always promote it. Like, people don't need to physically be there in order for them to see that art, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's like, dance is really easy to promote. You know, like you said, you don't have to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You can record it and it can be used on every single platform. I just think that, you know, for a while it was Instagram, but now it's TikTok too.
Yeah.
That really embraces that type of content, because you don't have, it's almost perfect, because a dance routine can be 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it can feel longer than that. I know a damn sure feels longer than that to the person actually dancing. That 30 seconds got to be feeling like eternity.
Yeah.
But it's almost perfect to promote, like you said, and it's so many different types of
Definitely.
dance. So, I was going to go into question number 3, but you kind of already answered it in question 1. Shame on you.
Sorry.
But I'm going to ask it
Overachiever.
Exactly. You see this? Ambitious woman over here. What I can say is you're never boring. What I can say that. You know I could be a little bit boring at times, but you don't see that part. When I'm at home, don't nobody see that. I'm in the crib just chilling. You know.
Needs that.
But for question number 3, I was gonna ask, were there any other interests that you had? And you kind of touched on it a bit as far as like singing, and I didn't know that part of it. I thought when I saw the montages that you put up before, I always thought it was all strictly dance. I didn't know that you was actually trying to, you know, be some, like, you know, Destiny's Child type of thing. I didn't know you was into that.
We was back in the day.
Do you have any recordings? You do. I know you have to. You had them photos. You have videos. You have to have them. I want to hear it now.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. Now I really want to hear it.
No, my singing group, we were together. We started in 2005 when I was 8, and then I think we stopped my singing group right when I started XPDC. Okay. So my singing group, I'm not going to say the name because nobody's Googling over here. But
hey, y'all got Googleable?
Oh yeah, we got music videos.
See, I'm gonna be stalking you, like Angelita singing group.
No. But my singing group, it really kind of gave me that first foundation in my creative life. So I was a songwriter. That's where I started off my choreography journey. I took production lessons. So I was learning how to produce music and everything.
Audio production?
Yeah.
Now things are beginning to make a lot more sense now. Okay.
So it gave me the foundation. That's where I used to edit. I used to direct and edit the music videos. So that's kind of where I developed the passion for, you know, editing and everything and stuff. So like it really gave me the foundation for where I am today. Like, you know, 8 to 12-year-old me, kind of like learning how to do things. But that experience and like developing that passion and kind of being like, you know, when I started taking production lessons, I took vocal lessons and I took production lessons. My vocal coach was Miss Linnell, and then her husband produced music. So like when my sister Damani and I would go over for vocal lessons, I would do my vocal lessons first. And then while Damani was doing her vocal lessons, I would go take production lessons. And so I got familiar with Logic Pro and everything. And like when my singing group would come over, because he used to do all of like our recordings, like he had a studio in the basement. Mm-hmm. So like we would go over there and like during our production lessons, like we would sit down and like I would mix the music with him and stuff. And like he'd be like, all right, you know, I see you got this, like, I'm 10 years old. Like, I'm 10 years old. And
like I said, things are the picture's starting to get clear now. I'm starting to understand.
Like, you know, you like this instrument, like, okay, cool, all right. And so this is where you're gonna pan, you know, we stacking these vocals and we're gonna pan this to the left, pan this to the right. Okay, put this headphone in. Do you hear this over here? Do you hear it right here? This is what it sounds like in the middle. Like, you know, kind of like learning that different thing, those different things.
So he was kind of like a mentor.
Yeah, definitely. I have oodles amount of mentors throughout my artistic journey. Like, it's like ironically, last weekend, to celebrate my new position, I had a mentors and mimosas brunch, and I literally invited like all of my mentors over the course of my life together just to say thank you. Like, you know, I had my 8th grade art teacher there. Like, I invited my mom, like my kindergarten teacher still keeps in touch with my mom. So like, she couldn't make it, but she's like, Angelita, and I just like.
Well, you seem like you made an impact on everyone.
Well, they made an impact on me.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely grateful. Like, you know, unfortunately, a couple years ago, I lost one of my mentors that like, she gave me so many skills, like my professional skills, like my spreadsheets and like detail to like attention to detail with like graphic design and like all of that. And so it was important to me. It is important to me to give people their flowers while they're here. So that's why I wanted to kind of just say thank you. So definitely, you know, Miss Linnell and Mr. TJ were definitely mentors in the start of, you know, that journey, because my singing group was the foundation. And that's when I started XPDC, my dance company. That's when I knew how to mix music. I knew how to have an ear to like mix the songs, and I knew about the metronome so I could make sure I knew how to slow stuff down and speed it up, and like, you know, different things that like, it was awesome. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's this though. Cause I was having this conversation with a buddy of mine, and cause you seem like you like having attention to detail. A lot of people will be taught that, or they'll have teachers who attempt to teach that. And a lot of people don't always hold on to the attention to detail. I know for me, that's a struggle. You know, attention to detail and staying focused if it's not something that's physical. Like if I don't know if you're familiar with like how Jackie Chan and how his acrobatics, his old movies, how he used to do all that stuff. And when it comes to stuff like that, I pay attention the hell out of it because I like being physical. I like to move.
Understand.
Like being acrobatic and stuff like that. Something you haven't seen yet.
You find out.
But I get into that type of stuff. That's the type of stuff that I would focus in on. Like, but you're talking about a lot of cerebral things, right? Now, a buddy of mine, he's like really fascinated with stuff like deals with the mind, and he tried to convince me that because me and him have similar interests. And we both edit video. Shout out to Jamar Denzel. That's what I'm talking about. Jamar Denzel. Shout out to him. But he said, "Yo, I think that we have a little bit of autism." And I said, "What the hell do you mean?" I said, "What you mean?" He said, "Yeah, I think we're a little autistic." And he said, "Think about it. It says like me and you get into heated conversations, which we do, but it's all love.
Yes. And
you get into those conversations, but it's always about being attention to detail." Conversation that we had. No, you said this. No, I didn't say that. Look at this. Look at these text messages, and we have to constantly fact check each other, right? And I'm going to ask like your ability to remember what you've learned. Not only that, because you're talking about stuff from 8 and 10 years old, technical stuff. You know, I know things about from 8 and 10 years old, but not technical things. You know, I remember. Do you think you have a little bit of autism?
There's something going on in this brain. No, I just
like a little like not attention, like the opposite of attention deficit. Yeah, like if you pay attention, and there are days when I'm like, there's no way she's awake. I know we was hanging out how I'm hurt right now. Like she's up. So
it's I mean, in regards to like skills from when I was younger and applying it now. It's application. So like, you know, there's certain things obviously from when I was younger that I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But those specific skills, it's application with something that I'm passionate about. So like, I want to be great in this. So why wouldn't I remember those opportunities that God put in my life to like a building block? You know, I don't want to try to get to step 4 and then God's like, okay, well, you step 4, but you forgot step 1. It's like, no, I gave you step 1 this day. And then like, you know, step 2, step 3, so you can get to step 4. Like if you try to jump to step 4 and forget everything in step 1, that's a faulty foundation.
So you're attributing your ability to remember what you've learned with application. So
I've been using it.
So with Logic Pro, you used it to record your singing group at one point. And that being able to edit music and sound is very similar, not the same, but it's similar to video.
Yeah.
So because everything is moving pictures, you're hearing sounds, you got to match everything up.
Right.
So all of that stuff you're applying to application.
Exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense because maybe that was my issue. At one point, you'll learn something technical, but then you don't know when the hell you're supposed to use it, so you just forget it.
Yeah.
So you actually used it in things that made sense for okay, so now it makes sense. Because I would say a couple of weeks ago, I was actually thinking about you when it came to that. I was like, okay, when the hell did she learn how to do and I don't know why, it was a random thought and you just popped in my head. I'm like, when the hell did she, but now that makes sense, you know, because I do remember things, you know, working with my hands or whatnot. I remember that stuff, but it's because I apply it.
That
and
is
I'm dealing
muscle
with it
memory.
right now.
It's the
Muscle
same
memory.
thing.
Okay.
Yes. No.
So it's not. So you're not autistic.
I mean, the verdict is out. But
So, other interests. I do have one question that's kind of unrelated. It kind of came into. Actually, I might save that one.
Okay.
A different time.
Okay.
I might save that for a different time because that could turn into a whole nother conversation, and that'd be. I know you gotta go. You got something to do later on.
I'm not going to Philly anymore.
No.
So, no. Yeah.
Oh, well then shit. Hold up. Let me see. What that question at?
Thank you for being respectful.
I'm trying to do that. Let's see. I think usually this would be a point now where I would ask like a bonus question, right?
Okay.
But in order to get to that, we have to play rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
All right. Are you familiar with this game? It's very
Do you
dangerous.
shoot?
Yes, I do shoot.
Good. All right.
You say says shoot or just rock, paper, shoot?
No, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah, but we can do says shoot.
I don't know. Am I the only person that does this shit?
Yes, says shoot is a lot.
Really? Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
No, it's rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yo, this is the Mandela effect because I remember everybody doing it when I was a kid.
Why is rock, paper, or scissors saying shoot?
I never had the time to think about it. I never thought about it. I never thought about it.
Why they talking?
Like, yeah, when you think about it, that's some high shit, man. Is there something we get that like, yo, why is the rock, paper, scissors talking? Like, really? I wouldn't have thought of that shit, man. All right, so let's do it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So if you win, you ask the question.
Yeah, and if you win, you get to ask me a question.
Okay, hold on. Let me think of a question first. Because I'm gonna win.
Oh, yo, you say okay. I like the confidence, but you know, I don't lose that often.
I mean, we just had a whole interview. You know
hey,
how
look,
to lose.
Look.
It's cool. It's cool.
Let's see how it goes.
Okay. All right.
You got it?
Ready? Yes.
Okay. Oh, one question before we do that.
Okay.
When it comes to your choreography and all of that, right? Who's doing the design when it comes to the clothes? Is it you or is it someone else?
No, my mom and I work hand in hand to source.
Because that's a skill itself too. That's a skill in fashion. Because I'm sorry, this really just popped in my head. But I had a guest before by the name of Mark Andre. Mm-hmm. He was a model, and his whole story is crazy. Like that IBS kind of happened on a whole Yeezy set, and all of a sudden became that. I'm like, so how the fuck? Like he told his whole story for like 10 minutes, and I was like,
oh my God.
So how in the hell did that? And I knew him from a while back, and I'm like, yo, wow, bravo, dude. But you know, fashion is something is definitely a part of your whole shtick, whole show, and everything like that. So you're the one actually putting together the clothes, all of that, styling everyone. and doing all of that. So it's you and your mom
My
helps
mom,
out.
yeah. So
Okay.
like everything, I mean, with my live shows and any of the filmings that we do, I have a very particular vision. So the music is one piece, and so I like to have hands. And like when you listen to the music, the choreography, you start to hear different things. So I like to do the choreography, and then you have to have the costuming that brings the vision to life. Because like the wrong costume, then like I know one of the last filming that we had done for Glass, November 15th, Netflix coming near you. We had done like a 1800s like kitchen scene and everything, and so like I wanted short hair, so we had like the short platinum blonde wigs, and then like the BB homemaker scarves up top, and it is a totally different experience from the first time that we had done the kitchen scene filming. We filmed the kitchen scene twice, and that during that filming, everybody had their hair however they wanted. I had faux locks. Somebody had a bun up top. Well, if we're going to be 1800s,
you can't do that.
You can't. It doesn't make sense. So that's a huge part. The lighting is a huge part. The first time we did lighting, it was red. Why? Next time that we did the filming, it was kind of like a softer 1800s, less loud. We let the costumes, the red on the gloves and then the bandana, it popped in like that soft kind of blue, warm, like warm amber lighting and everything. So it kind of made, so like it's all those little different pieces. I don't know, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my ish. And so like I have a specific vision. So like, I don't know, call me Tyler Perry. I like to have my hand in everything, but costuming is as big of a piece as the lighting, as the music, as the choreography, as the hair.
You're a real director. I would say that because directors have to be involved in everything. I mean, you kind of have to be based off of the budget. I mean, maybe when you get $1 million budget, you won't have to do all of that. But I don't see that changing though for you. I think even if you do have a large budget, I think you're going to be one of those types of directors you're going to be a James Cameron. And that red doesn't belong there. Dude, why are you even down here? like, you're supposed to be up there dealing with that shit. Why are you here? That red's fine. No, it's too red. It's like a burnt. No. And you spend 3 hours on that red, and then you go back to the real shit.
Yeah,
so, okay. I just wanted to ask that question because I was curious.
Yes.
But anyway, okay. You have your question. And I'm just gonna get this W real quick.
All right.
See, now I don't even want to do this shit because now if I lose, I'm like, God damn it, you can't have no more water.
Well, no more water is crazy.
All right.
All right,
so
doing
rock,
sand
paper.
shoot?
No, just
Okay.
we're gonna do it your way.
All right.
Because obviously I'm like the anomaly. So rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. God damn it.
Woo!
Okay. All right. So go ahead and ask your question.
All right. Your budget is, let's say $50K.
Mm-hmm.
$50K all inclusive, like for everything. What is your dream project and why? With a $50K budget.
It doesn't matter what genre?
Doesn't matter what dream project in any aspect.
Okay. We might be between two.
Okay.
And I'll give you both. One, I would like to shoot an action sequence.
Ooh.
And it doesn't need to have like a crazy story. It could just be a chase.
Okay.
And what first thing that comes to mind to kind of model it after, not to be exactly shot for shot, but if you ever seen Jackie Chan's Police Story, I don't know if you have it. I mean, anyway, those who have know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's like, he has several of these types of scenes in his movies, in his old school movies, and he's running away and he's doing all kind of acrobatic stuff. Like they call it parkour now, but he's doing all of that. So yeah, that's essentially what it is. They say there was some two French guys. They kind of popularized that term, but Jackie was doing it. Yeah. But prior to that, and there was guys doing that shit back in, I forget the guy's name, but black and white videos where there was no sound. He was doing it then. There was parkour then. But anyway, I would like to do something like that. Okay. And you kind of have to have a little bit of a budget for that, to do some choreography, some fight scenes, and you have to kind of rent out some spaces because you're gonna need time because people are gonna fall, get hurt, or you got to do retakes. So that budget, blocking it out, and probably that budget might be just for the day, depending on where you're shooting at and how many people's involved. because there are budgets, there are shoots where the shit's 40, 50, 60 grand a day.
Yeah,
and that's why people don't mess around. If you gotta be on time, you gotta be ready to go.
For sure.
Aside from that, something that's smaller than that, I would like to actually do an album, because I used to rap for a while.
Oh, no, I seen those videos.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, you know, man, I'm saying, she saw the kid, man. But no, but all jokes aside, I would actually like to do it. Now, 50 grand is not a whole lot, but it is enough to do an EP. Well, I actually probably could do a whole album doing that, working with producers that are within the budget level, because there are producers that will charge you 50 grand for a beat, just to produce it. But then you can have that 50 grand and get producers from all over the world and be able to get all your production straightened out, recording, maybe a music video, maybe not, because a lot of people are real focused on the short form content now, so you can do it that way, which actually makes things a little bit cheaper. But I would like to do that and then promote it the right way. And 50 grand, especially as an independent project, would actually work out. Now I'm assuming I'm sure that there are, more things you can do or with a bigger budget, but 50 grand sounds like it would be worth it. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Love that.
Yeah.
Woo.
And I wanted to ask my question. I might just ask it anyway. Why not? Is it okay? Can I ask you this question?
Yeah,
it's a bonus question.
Let the record show, though.
She did win. she did win, and next time we do anything, I'm not giving you no water, nothing. All right. So my question is this: like, you're animated. A lot of your production is, it's it isn't corporate for the most part. It's you get a good feeling out of it, which is what art is supposed to do, regardless of the medium that it's coming out of. Are you a fan of anime?
So I dabble in some anime now. I actually just my boyfriend just put me on to Invincible. So I just finished Invincible, and I was watching by myself, and I was like, "Oh my God, wait, did you see it?" So I'm actually
Invincible does that. It's a different type of, and I wouldn't even call that real anime. That's different.
That's okay. Controversial take. That's what I was saying. I was trying to this is obviously a very raw topic because. I've watched a couple of animes throughout my life. Like, I've seen Attack on Titan. I did not see season 4. So I had binged the first 3 seasons. Like, I've watched I don't know, something like some type of game one. Then Promised Neverland. Your Lie in April was a really, really amazing. I think it was a movie that was amazing. But I like the ones that are, I got in trouble for saying this, but I like the ones that are more cartoony rather than traditional anime.
Yeah, I think what you mean. Anime has a very distinct style, and that's why I'm asking, because when I would come, you did when we went to different rooms and stuff like that, that was okay, and there was a lot going on there, and that's how I kind of associated it with anime a little bit. So that's why
the workplace one.
Not the work. There wasn't the work. It was the It was in a house. You had, because you did a couple of these. It was
Oh, you're talking about Spaceship.
Yes.
Spaceship. Sorry, I thought you were talking about one of our filmings. Okay.
No, Spaceship.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what I kind of, because you had all things it was like comic books almost. You know? So, but I wouldn't say anime is Invincible. Invincible's different.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it is. It's different. I don't know who's calling it anime.
Well, it is an anime.
It's animated, but it's not anime is Dragon Ball Z.
That's
Naruto. That's anime. It's how it's drawn, how it's acted, and the exaggerated movements and things like that. With Invincible, it's not like that. It's different. To me, it's different. I'm pretty sure there's a definition. I don't know about it, but
I agree.
Yeah, but
I don't know enough. I don't know enough to
to
fight the battle.
And typically, anime is out of Japan. So
that's what. No, but I mean, I dabble. I think I am enjoying studying and learning different mediums as I am growing in my artistic journey, and like, seeing how different stories develop, and just different pieces of art. So I do want, if you have any recommendations, holla at me, because I am, but I don't like gore. I don't want gore.
Which and Invincible has some gore in it.
Yeah, no, I had to cover my eyes like when.
Yeah, no, I'm not really big into that, but I do appreciate the way that Invincible does it, because it makes sense. Because if you look at everything else when it comes to superheroes, it's like, people would be getting messed, like that would actually happen. Yeah. So it makes sense that they do that type of stuff, but they have a budget because all that drawing and all that shit is ridiculous. Like they got it. That animation is not cheap.
No, seriously. Did you happen to see one of my favorite, and it's like just my nerd, like logistic brain, and cheap brain. There was like the episode of Invincible where they went to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And then he was like, he was like, and I love that so much.
Yo, it makes the way he was describing it, it was showing it. It's like, okay, now that makes sense. Yeah, it's the reason why, because he didn't have the budget to do this shit. So that makes sense. Amazing. Yeah, that was a real like childlike question. Yeah, but I just wanted to know because you're super animated and things like that. So it's nice to know that you dabble in it and appreciate the medium, because it's all art.
Definitely, definitely.
But we are reaching the end of the show. Yeah, man. What you got going on? From the date of taping this, what you got going on, man? You got a couple things coming up.
Yeah, so the biggest project, I have Vaughn on the books for a couple more filmings. We're wrapping up our 2-year project, Glass. So a couple years ago, I guess 2023. Yeah. I had approached Vaughn. I was like, hey, I got another fine mess to get you into. I'm trying to film a movie. And so just how like time, logistics, like, life, budget, like, logistics as a whole, it's taken us a little bit longer, but there's finally light at the end of the tunnel. So yes, we will be completing that project. And in November, I'm producing my first ever experiential film festival called Next Flicks. And so it's going to feature 3 amazing DMV filmographers, creatives. One of the films is a psychological film, the other one's a thriller, and then Glass is more empowering, like motivating kind of musical vibes. And so I'm really, really excited to see this come to life. Like each film is gonna have its own experiential portion, so you can have an actual immersive experience before going to go view the film in a beautiful, intimate theater. So I'm really, really excited. November's coming up, so
we got work to do. We got work to do. But I love it though. I love working with you. It's actually pretty dope. And this is, I think, the lowest anyone's going to be seeing you going forward. I actually really do believe that.
God willing. Thank you, Vaughn. I appreciate that.
But I appreciate you coming through.
Of course.
And thank you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
But man. So that is 3QS. And until the next one.
Yes.
We out.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
See y'all later.